So we've already seen a variable, and I told you a variable is just a box used to store a value. Of course, to declare a variable in JavaScript, you have four ways. Guys, please mute yourself. Rahma. We have four different ways. Two ways we're not going to use. The two ways we're going to use is using const and let. And as you know, with let, you can change the value of the variable, but with const, you cannot do that. Trace variables, that means just see how the variable changing during the program. And as you know, for example, let's say I say this is my variable and I'm asking the user for input. And after that, when the user put an input, then the value of this variable, I'm going to change it. So the value of the variable can be changed or not changed depending on your need. If you are using const, it will not change. If you are using let, it will change during the program. The rule we told you, always use const unless you need to reassign your variable. You need to that. If you don't need to reassign your variable, it's always a good idea to use const. I think that should be fine. For DevTool and debugger, we already seen the developer tool. And I told you in developer tool, of course, we have, if I click on inspect, we have console. We've seen a source here, show you all your file. And after that, when you want to debug, there's many different ways to do it. Either you can put a breakpoint, and then after that, you can use this button. Now, this button here, it's step. That means it will go line by line through all your program. If there is a function here, it will go inside the function as well. But sometimes that's what we don't want to. Okay, here it's step in. So if you have a function, coming function, and you want to go inside the function, you click on this one, which is step into the next function. Step out when you want to go out of the function. Here, step over. It will not go inside the function. It will step over the function. Okay. And of course, here it's resume. So if you click on this one here, it will just exit the debug mode, or it will move to the next breakpoint. That should be clear. For today, we're going to study something called error and bugs. Can anyone tell me what's the difference between error and bug? Can anyone tell me what's the difference between error and bugs? What's the difference between an error and a bug? You have to speak up a little bit.
The error is easier to resolve the problem.
Yes, it is easy. Bug is more complex, true. But there's another way, actually. Normally, the error, you will see an error in your console. So we see an error here and telling you what's the error. But in bugs, your program is working, but it's not working as you want. That's the problem here. I mean, error, you can see a message, and after that, it will indicate the exact place where there is an error. It's easy to fix. But the bug, you don't have an error. But your program is not working as you want to. For example, if I say 5 plus 3, it should be give me 8. But if I take the input from the user, I did not convert it to a number because all the time the input coming from the user, it will be in form of string. So if I did not convert it to a number, here I have 5 and 3. It will just concatenate 5 with 3. It will become 53. Okay? So that's actually a problem, as you can see. So this is a bug. Is the idea clear? So it's easy to distinguish between them. Let's go 5 long here and see what's the problem here. So here, as you can see, we need to test this case. So the idea here, what we are asking the user at line 17, we are asking, we have an input, of course, we are using the let keyword input prompt, enter something 5 character long, exactly 5 character. And here in my condition, I'm saying if input is null, what do I mean by null? When I will get null. So I have an input when I get null. If I click on cancel. So if I click on cancel, it will give me null. And here, of course, if I click on OK without entering anything, it will give me. If I click on OK without entering anything, it will give me empty string. It will give me empty string. And of course, other than that, it will give me the value. So here we are checking if input is equal to null, we're going to alert sad face. Else, if the input length is less or equal to 5, of course, we alert too short, and here alert too long. As you can see, if the input and length is greater or equal to 5, else we will say perfect. Of course, we have a problem in this. We have a small problem, a bug in this example. Can anyone tell me what's the bug here? Can anyone tell me what's the bug here? We want as a user to enter 5 character exactly, but we are doing here something. Can anyone tell me what's the problem? Yes, we are saying if it's less or equal, that's include 5, and here is include 5, but we don't want that. We want if it's exactly 5, we say perfect. That means we need to remove actually the equal sign. And here the same idea, we need to remove the equal sign. Other than that, we will not reach this condition at all, because the condition here is equal to 5, and 5, that's mean included. That's not what I want to. I want to be exactly 5. That's mean now if the input length is less than 5, it will go say too short. If it's more than 5, it will say too long. But if it's 5, it will hit this one. Is the idea clear? So that should be simple. It's the simplest one. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create an index file, index.html, HTML. And here I'm going to just put a template here. And here I'm going to link my script. As you can see, script, so ./5 long. And I'm going to open it in my live server. So let's open it in live server. And of course, it will give me this one. So it will not allow me. So let me enter 5 characters so it does not bother me. Perfect. Let's just do that. And now let's hit this one. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go away. Now, what I can do, I can click on this one. And I see where is my file. Sometimes I cannot see my file, right? As you can see here, I cannot see my file sometimes. It's not in React DevTool. It's not Redux DevTool. So the easiest way in this case, what it will be? Well, I can just put the debugger statement here. And after that, I can remove it if I want to. The debugger statement, it will just stop. As you can see now, I can see my file. I don't need it anymore. And now if I want to, I can just put a breakpoint here and get rid of this debugger statement if I want to. Click, go, refresh. And of course, it will give me 5 characters. So let's enter it. Now let's refresh again. Well, now it will stop in my breakpoint. So what should I do now? I should go line by line to understand what's going on. So let's go to the next step. Now, if I enter console, of course, it will be null. And as you can see, null is equal to null. And it will here alert a sad face, as you can see. Voila. If I try again, let me resume it, refresh. If I try again and enter OK, of course, the value, it will be an empty string. As you can see, an empty string is not equal to null. But the links here, input links here, it will be just 0. And 0, of course, is less than 5. So it will hit too short. So let me click on this one. Voila, too short. But if I enter, of course, more, it will hit this one, but I'm not gonna do it because it's very clear. If I enter 5 exactly, it will go and alert perfect. Is it quite clear? So this is a bug. It was a bug, actually. It was not error because in my console, I will not see any error. Okay, of course, you have exercise you need to do. You need to try to fix. That should be okay. Some exercise, isolate and integrate. Let's see what's the error. What the hell are error? So error, let me actually create an error for you. Error, for example, let's say I want to see here, and I can use const. Of course, if I use const, the input here, actually, I'm not changing the input at all. So let me introduce another way of creating an error. Yeah, maybe I can just do this one here. Well, let's remove the links here. Just the input like that. And let's see what will happen. Let's refresh. And let's enter 2. And it's giving me perfect, of course. Click. 1, 2. Okay. It's giving me perfect now, as you can see. It shouldn't give me perfect, actually. It should give me what? It should give me too short. But now, because I remove the links here and the input here, so this condition, it will not be count. It will try to go to this condition. It's not more than 5, so it will hear perfect, no other choice. That's a bug. And to fix this bug, of course, as you know, you can just say .links. That's one of them. Let's try to introduce another bug. Maybe here I will not use prompt, for example. I will use here without this one. Of course, this is an error, as you know. If I go here and I try to refresh, let me just give this one, refresh. Refresh again. No, it should, no, now it's become a string. Let's remove the equal. And now it will be perfect. And now, as you can see, that's the error. Why? Because I can see an error, as you can see in my console, uncode syntax error. So it says syntax error. That means you have a problem with the syntax you are using, missing initializer in const declaration. And if you click on it, it will take you directly to this place here. So what's saying here, you need an equal, and of course here it's equal to string, so it will not do anything, but it's, of course, we want to ask the user, we don't want a string. So set prompt. Is the idea clear? What is the difference between error and bugs? It's a very short lesson today. But of course, you need to work a lot by yourself. Is it clear what's the difference between error and bugs? Simple, huh? Okay, now what you need to do here in bugs, you have, of course, exercises, integrate and isolate, and also in error, you have isolate, integrate, also exercises, and you need to finish those two. Of course, create a new branch, name it error dash and bugs. When you are done with this one, you can go back again. What is programming? If you didn't finish it, finish it. Just enough JavaScript. If you did not finish it. And then here you can go to understand program. We will start later. And of course, if you not finish with anything with computer and developer, dev tool and debugger, finish it first. Because those are the most important. And if you have time, you will go to this one. Is the idea clear? It's important to go through each exercises because each exercises introduce a new idea for you. Now, it will not be useful for you if I go through everything myself. You need to try it yourself to learn how to debug your code this way. Of course, if you have a question, make sure you understand each exercise before you move to the second exercise. Is that okay? I've taught you how to debug, and now with debugging everything, it will become simple if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's your job. So yeah, good luck. So what is truthy and falsy? Well, I don't know what's truthy and falsy. Let's see here. Let's read this code here. So as you can see, and I have very simple code, which is I'm declaring a variable message. I give it an value, an empty string. Then I'm saying let input is equal to null. But after that, I'm saying while not input, which is very strange, right? Because input is not a Boolean. So input here is not a Boolean. I told you not operator what is doing here. If it's true, it will make it false. If it's false, it will make it true. How come I am using the not operator with input and input is null? How? Well, what JavaScript is doing here, JavaScript will convert, if I put any value here need to be Boolean as a true or false, JavaScript will convert it to a Boolean. And in JavaScript, we have only 5 falsy value, and all of them falsy. That means when JavaScript converted to a Boolean, it will become false. And truthy, that means if JavaScript converts the number, it will become truthy. Most of the value truthy except 5 value are falsy. Null is falsy. Okay, null. We have undefined is falsy. None is falsy. Empty string is falsy, and 0 is falsy. Other than that, everything is truthy. Let's see what do I mean by that. Well, let's go to our test. And here I'm going to open my live server. Let's open here. And in case you forget and you don't know which value is falsy or truthy, you can just use this function, which is called Boolean. What Boolean doing, as you remember, in string or in a number, it will convert. Are you with me, Agnieszka? Boolean with capital B, it will convert whatever there into a Boolean. So for example, if I try to convert 0, notice it give me false. If I try to convert an empty string, and only empty string, it will give me false. If I try to convert undefined, it will give me falsy. If I try to convert null, it will give me false. That's mean falsy. That's falsy. And the value we have here, which is called none, which is not a number, none, it will give me falsy. Other than that, all the value, it will be truthy. For example, let's try to convert number 1. So if I say number 1 here, truthy or falsy? It is truthy. But what if I say -1? Do you think it will be truthy or falsy? All the number are truthy except 0. All string are truthy except empty string. Null, undefined, they are falsy. And what else? Null, undefined, and empty string, none, which is not a number. So all number are truthy except 0 and none, which is not a number. But not a number also is type is number. So these two only are falsies. All of other are truthy. Okay, now depending on these truthy and falsy, as you can see, I explain it in very simple way. So if you forgot any value, you don't know if it's truthy or falsy, just type Boolean and put the value here. For example, if you want to check your name if it's truthy or falsy, you can just put your name, and of course it will be truthy. Why? Because it's string. Whatever the name is, it will be truthy. So any string except the empty string, it will be truthy. Okay. Now what I'm doing here, now I know that null is falsy value, right? I told you null is falsy value. So what JavaScript is going to do, it will convert as this input, which is null, into truthy or falsy. So it become falsy. And falsy here, if not falsy, it will become truthy. That means this one will be true. So whenever the value of the input is null, the loop, it will be executed. But if the value here, if the user enters anything, any text except the empty string, except null, if he enter anything, it will be string with something. Any string, it is truthy. Because now the input here, it will be truthy. Not truthy, it will be what? Falsy. So here it will stop the loop. Did you understand the idea? So not input means if the input is, it has a value, but it is not null, it is not an empty string. That's what it means, not null or not input. Is the idea clear? That's simply truthy or false. It's just converting the value to Boolean. We can convert anything to Boolean. JavaScript can do that for you. And of course, I told you all the value are truthy, except 5 value are falsy. Null, undefined, empty string, 0, and none. Is the idea clear? Simple. That's truthy and false. So instead of say while for example input is not equal to null or is not equal to empty string, you can just say while no input, not input. And if input is null or empty string, that means it will be falsy, not falsy, it will be truthy. But if the input any other value which is not empty string, not null, it will be falsy and it will stop the loop. And voila. Do you want me to show you an example? Yes? Okay.
Like here is let input equals null now, null. But if I change it to empty string, it will be the same.
Yes, because empty.
Will not declare anything, it will be also the same.
If it's empty string is falsy, right? Not false, it's true. So it was still looping while true. It will be true. We're still looping until this one is true. The loop while loop it will go on. Whenever this one is true, it will go on. If it's empty string, it will also be true because empty string is falsy and not falsy, it will be truth. But if the value anything but except null or an empty string, this loop it will stop. Okay, let's try to bring another example. I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to get rid of this one. For example, I'm going to ask the user for his name. Okay, so I can just say, for example, const or let whatever you want to call const username or input. Let's just make it input. It's equal to prompt. Of course, I need to prompt the user, enter your name. Enter your name. Voila. Now, after the user enter a name, what I need to do, of course, the normal way I say if input is not equal to null and input is not equal to an empty string, right? Because I need to make sure it's not null and not empty string. So let's do it this way. For example, here I will say, let's use the while loop because I want to ask the user again and again and again. While input is equal to a null or it's equal to empty string, I will ask the user again, as you can see. So I need to change this one from const to let because I need to ask the user again here. So whenever input is null or empty string, I'm going to ask the user, give me your name, give me your name, give me your name, and I will have an infinite loop. Will not stop until the user enter anything. When the user enter anything, I can just say for alert, for example, thank you. I will exit the loop and it will alert, hello, whatever, your name. So now let's go to our debugger tool and try to debug this code so we can understand it. Debugger. Voila, let's refresh. I did not open the correct one. It is the correct one. Sometimes it's go crazy. What the hell happened? Yeah, but I put it somewhere. I'm quite sure. Where did I put it? It looked like I didn't put it in the right file. Yeah. In which file did I wrote it?
Enter
To
something.
enter something.
I'm sorry?
Because you have another file open, another tab.
Enter something. Yeah. My mistake. Sorry for that. Let's copy that, and now let's do Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Retrieve the other code. Voila. So let's save this one, get rid of this one, and now let's go to our code, which is be here in test. Voila. Now let's enter it, and now that should be go. Okay, good. Let me close this guy here. I don't need it. And now notice here in the scope what will happen when I go line by line. So now what I'm going to do here, click, and now of course I'm going to ask the user for input. Now if I enter cancel, notice what will happen. If the input is null, here's the input is null, right? So what's happening here, it will ask the user again and again. If I say, okay, the same idea, it will ask again and again. He will not be happy until I enter a name. So let's do that and enter, for example, voila, and now he will be happy. Hello, voila. Now let's go and replace all this ugly code with something simple. I can just say while no input, notice, and it will do the same job exactly. Why? Because null and empty string, both of them are falsy, and I'm saying while not falsy, while, just understand it this way, while no input, while there is no input, that means if it's null or empty string is no value. While no input, I want to ask for the input again and again. Now let's check it to see if the same behavior or not. Same behavior, that means doing the same code or executing the same way. Click, and now here I will ask the user, let's click on cancel. And notice what will happen here when I hover over this one here, and now this one is null, as you can see. But now if I hover over not null, it will actually give me true. Why? Because null is falsy value. JavaScript, it will convert this null into truthsy or falsy. It's falsy, not false, it's true. So because it's true, it will ask the user again, as you can see. Voila. And if I say, okay, it's the same idea. Why? Because here input, it will be empty string, and empty string is falsy value. Not false, it's true. So it will go again to the loop, and if I hover over it, it will give me true. And now the same idea, as you can see, it will not allow me until I enter something. Voila. Now if I enter something, he will be happy. Now what's happening here? Now the input sum here it's truthsy. Why? Because it's the string, is not an empty string, so it's truthsy. Not true, it will be false. And here, this one, it will be false. My loop will stop. And now it will alert hello sum. Voila. Same behavior exactly. But of course, this one is much better. I mean, I don't have to write if null is not equal, is equal to, if input is equal to null or input is equal to empty string. Here, just while no input. Voila. Is the idea clear? Falsy or truthy is super important, especially in conditions, in loops. It's very important. You need just to remember just a few words here. 5 value only are falsy. Null, empty string, 0, undefined, and none from numbers. And simply like that. Voila. All other value are truthy. Okay? Is it quite clear, truthy and falsy value? If you are in doubt in any case, all you have to do, just use this function, which is called Boolean with upper B. So a Boolean here with upper B, and put whatever value you want. For example, I don't know if this string is truthy or falsy. All I have to do, I put it here, and it will give me truthy or falsy. Is the idea clear? And now here, if I say empty string, of course, it will give me falsy, as you can see. Try with 0, and trying again. It's falsy, and so on, and so on, and so on. Is the idea clear? Very good. That's simply truthy and false. Question?